Hello everyone! I hope everyone is enjoying the Glower Research Week. Today we are talking about the role of civil society organizations during the ongoing military coup in Myanmar. On February 1st, 2021, the new parliamentary term was supposed to begin in Myanmar. In November last year, Aung San Suu Kyi's party, the National League for Democracy, won 258 of the 315 seats in the lower house and 138 of the 161 seats in the upper house, thus repeated its electoral success of 2015. However, when the results were reported, the military spoke of election fraud. There had already been rumors of a possible imminent military coup in January. However, the military denied reports of plans to suspend the constitution as a misunderstanding just 2 days before the coup. 48 hours later, Aung San Suu Kyi, President Win Myint, and other leading NLD politicians were arrested. The military declared a 12-month state of emergency. According to the non-profit human rights organization, the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners, thus far declared that 737 people have been killed by the military junta during the pro-democracy protest movement, and more than 3,000 people have been arrested, charged, or sentenced. However, even though more civilians are being killed every day, the end to the protests against the military junta is currently not in sight. The peace process that started in 2011 with the nationwide ceasefire agreement between the government and 8 of the 16 armed ethnic groups has not been successful at achieving sustainable peace. The current military coup makes it impossible for civil society and civil society organizations to participate in any kind of peace process. However, the majority of the academic literature argues that civil society organizations are vital to start any peace negotiation and achieve any long-term results. The participation of CSOs fosters an inclusive peace process because they increase the possibilities of a secure, stable, and sustainable post-conflict. The literature emphasizes the importance of implementing specific components of the power-sharing concept to decrease the likelihood of civil war in post-conflict settings. In addition, the study Power Sharing, Protection, and Peace finds that constraining power sharing is the most effective way at achieving a peaceful outcome because constraining power sharing institutions can guarantee civil liberties and independent judiciaries and create checks against governmental repression of vulnerable groups and ordinary citizens. Applying the theoretical lens of conflict resolution, I seek to answer the question, does civil society matter in a post-terminal peace process to achieve sustainable peace in Myanmar? My arguments are based on Galtung's theory of the conflict triangle, as well as Burton's theory of human needs. I argue that the conflict in Myanmar and the engagement of civil society can be illustrated by both theories. This theoretical framework leads me to the following testable hypotheses. Hypothesis 1. The behavior of the military junta in Myanmar prevents civil society organizations from continuing their usual work, which leads to more disputes and aggressive attitudes between civil society, the state, and the military. Hypothesis 2. As the situation worsens and the military in Myanmar takes increasingly brutal action against civil society, the more resistance civil society organizations are going to form. Hypothesis 3. The longer the emergency situation in Myanmar continues, the greater the probability that civil society run out of their basic human needs, and the less likely it'll be to reach sustainable peace between all parties. I argue that the ongoing military coup is mainly the result of year-long struggles between the military, the government, and civil society during the peace process that started in 2011. My arguments also suggest that the military never wanted a successful peace process in Myanmar because the more violent it gets toward the pro-democracy movement, the more it proves that it does not want to end the cycle of structural and cultural violence. As a result, this means even less influence and power for civil society organizations to influence the policy agenda. This research has a case study approach and was conducted as a qualitative study. Data was mainly collected through semi-structured interviews. In the first part of my analysis, I report the results of 11 interviews with civil society leaders, civil society organizations, political experts, UN diplomats, and governmental officials from Myanmar. The second part of my analysis involved the comparison to the interviews I conducted last year, prior to the military coup, where I conducted 5 semi-structured interviews with 2 types of organizations: local civil society organizations and a nonpartisan think tank. In addition, I also conducted an interview with a technical advisor to an armed ethnic group responsible for the implementation of the nationwide ceasefire agreement. The empirical analysis of the interview transcripts confirmed the theory by revealing three main themes related to why civil society matters in the post-turmoil peace process in Myanmar. First, civil society can act as a catalyst for change by showing unity. This was, for example, shown by the publication of the open letter to the United Nations from civil society organizations calling on the Council's immediate action to ensure the protection of demonstrators. Second, civil society can contribute to enhanced accountability and legitimacy of governance by holding the military and the government accountable for their actions. Third, the inclusion of civil society in formal negotiations leads to greater transparency, which can be achieved by implementing a number of reforms through power-sharing arrangements. I find that the military coup is a window of opportunity for civil society and civil society organizations to defend their beliefs and request international support to ensure the continuation of peaceful negotiations and prevent another military dictatorship. The interviewees emphasized possible solutions in form of multilateral sanctions, continued diplomatic engagement, and an arms embargo to stop the revenue flow of the military. In addition, the interviewees mentioned the importance of the Security Council to prevent another humanitarian crisis and maintain international peace and security in the region. To conclude, my study begins to provide an analysis about the importance of civil society organizations, which are essential to achieve sustainable peace in Myanmar. However, to fully understand the ongoing situation and come back to any sort of peace negotiation, more in-depth research is necessary to improve the working relationship between the military, the government, and civil society. Do you think civil society and the pro-democracy movement can become the catalyst of change to transition to democracy and achieve sustainable peace in Myanmar?